Here we go.
Hello, everyone.
There you go. People are slowly arriving.
Great.
A couple of people still connecting. Yeah, great. Give it another minute or so to let a couple more people come in.
Oh, hi, Sandra. Welcome.
Hello, thank you. It's been great, this series. Thank you so much.
Glad you're enjoying it all.
Yes, please use this time to say hello to any friends who are on the call. There'll be plenty more time for that as we go anyway. Okay, I might get us started, just checking everything's recording and working okay. So to kick us off, welcome to the Climate Parties. This is a crash course in saving the planet. This is of course part of Randwick City Council's Eco Living Online Festival. I really hope you've been here for a couple of the other sessions that we've had yesterday, today, and another full day of events tomorrow as well. Today we're hearing from Craig Rucastle from Warren Waste from Fight for Planet A. Definitely worth checking out. And tomorrow morning we've got plenty more, starting with solar for strata, so that's rooftop solar for apartments. We have hot composting. We also have Dr. Carl answering the question of, can we reach zero emissions? So we're really chock-a-blocked. Make sure you join in, it's going to be awesome. I'd also like to extend a welcome from Randwick City Council's Mayor, who is Danny Said. And my name is Sam Kelly. I'm from Randwick City Council's sustainability team. I'm also joined here today by Julian Lee, who works alongside me in sustainability. And of course, joined by Christina Brower, who is the host of our climate party today. So before we proceed, we would just like to acknowledge that the people in Randwick City are meeting on the land of the Bidjigal and the Gadigal people who occupied the Sydney coast, being the traditional owners. I'd also like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands where other viewers might be meeting on today. And I acknowledge and pay my respects to the elders, both past and present, and the Aboriginal people in attendance today. Now, as ever, just some quick Zoom housekeeping. Some sessions we've muted people if there's too much background noise going on, but we're a pretty small group here today, so that shouldn't be a big issue. We do encourage you to use the chat function if you want to pop in some questions or let us know about any technical issues. And we'll also just flag that this session is being recorded so we can share some of this fun with other people after the event. We'll be sending around a quick survey as well in the next couple of days just to hear how you found these events. We'd love to hear your thoughts to make them even better in the future. Now onto the fun part. I'd like to introduce our presenter, Christina, who is an educator and a learning designer with a decade of experience in teaching and course development. Over to you, Christina. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sam. Thank you. And welcome, everyone. So, yeah, it's great to have you here, and I'm looking forward to spending the next hour and a half with you and exploring a little bit the topic and climate parties. Before we start, I'll give you a background on how climate parties came together. So after the bushfires this year, I was quite confused why so little is being done and why we're continuing with business as usual when we've really known about climate change for decades. And, we are more and more experiencing the impacts of climate change, and yet still, even myself, we're just kind of plodding along and not doing much. And so I started doing a lot of research into the climate psychology and also climate communication to find out what the problem was, why we were doing so little. And so it turns out people do not really like doom and gloom. And one of the climate psychologists in Sweden, he says we've got apocalypse fatigue. So it's much easier to not deal with these things because they're quite confronting and to look the other way. So then I was thinking, how are we going to make this topic a little bit more positive? And how do we get people involved? Because really, it's time that we all start doing something about this. And that what came up again and again in the research was that we need to start talking about climate change, and we need to come together and form communities, because there's strength in numbers. You know, when you hear climate change, often it is so overwhelming. And especially if you're on your own, you just kind of go, well, it's too hard, can't do anything. So I thought, how do we bring these groups together? How do we start forming communities? And Tupperware parties came up. So, you know, I was thinking, how great would it be if there was one host, and the host has a little run sheet of activities, you know, videos or something creative to do that stimulates the conversation around climate change in a non-threatening environment, because often that can happen with climate change. And yeah, so similar to the consciousness raising parties in the 70s, where women came together to talk about the inequalities in the gender inequalities at the time. And yeah, so that's how the whole concept came together. Really, what Climate Party wants to do is bring people together to start the conversation around climate change and form a community so that we can act and really make a difference. And one other thing that's part of the climate parties is we really want to have a positive narrative, because often with the doom and gloom, yeah, no one really wants to be part of it. And why can't we reframe it to a point where, you know, it's kind of fun to be part of this, because we have so many opportunities this crisis brings us. You know, we can really start thinking about what kind of future we want. So I will now show you the Climate Party website to give you a bit of an overview of what it looks like. Let me share my screen. Can you see that? No, not yet. How's this? Great. Yep. Perfect. So I put together a website and I set up these 3 events. So the first box you see is an event intro for the hosts, so to give them a bit of an overview of how to run the events and some tips. And then the other 3 events, the first one is on facts. I often think, because the topic is quite overwhelming, people don't even know the most basic things. And this is an exploration into really simple stuff. The second evening is around emotions and why it is so difficult to deal with the topic, and why people are so reluctant to actually get involved. And the third one is all about agency and, you know, imagining the future, what would we like to have in the future, and how would we like to live, and also looking at steps on how we're going to get there and what different types of activism there is. So that's the event we're going to do tonight, because that's really kind of fun, because it's very positive as well. Great. So most of today will be happening in breakout rooms. So we'll have small groups of around about 4 people, and you'll get little tasks to discuss or to create within these breakout rooms. So we'll start with an icebreaker, because I assume many of us don't know each other yet. And then we'll dive right into it, and we'll start thinking about the future and what we would like the future to look like. We'll create a vision board together, and then we'll look at different types of activism and how we can get involved. Great. Okay, so are there any questions? Yeah. Maybe should we, if it's possible, would you like to turn on your video recording, your video, so we can see each other?
I know, having given a whole lot of workshops all today, when you spend the whole day presenting to an iPhone or a laptop, it's really nice to be able to see your faces.
So nice. Yeah.
That does make a big difference from a presenter's side of you, to see, you know, everyone's faces. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, great. Okay, so I'm thinking let's get started with the first activity. So we're facing pretty big challenges here, and I'm thinking a good way to start is to call in our superpowers. So I'd like you to think about, for 1 minute, what kind of environmental superpower you would like to have in this situation, and maybe give your superhero a name. And if you've got a piece of paper and a pen, you can also sketch the superpower you have and how you imagine it would help us. What we'll do now is we'll put you into breakout. How many people are we now?
10 of us.
10 of us. Should we do 2 breakout rooms?
Yep. Would you like me to start that now?
That'd be great. And we'll be in the breakout rooms for about 5 minutes. So we've got a bit of time to chat and get to know each other. And yeah, present our...
Bye.
Hi.
I think I recognise your names from some other events on today. So have you attended a couple of things?
Yes.
Busy day. Busy day. It's been a long day for us, but it's been really enjoyable. So Julie, the task was that we are creating our superpower to I don't know.
Yeah, climate change superhero. Yeah, so I've done this party with Christina before. So yeah, the example I had for the last party I did with her was my superpower would be getting people to instantly understand the long-term impacts of climate change, because it sort of amazes me how many smart people don't really have a good idea of long-term impacts, you know. So I think if I could instantly get people to understand and for them not to be threatened by some of the information, that'd be amazing. Yeah. I haven't done a sketch though. Sorry, I'm not very artistic.
Neither have I. Did you want to share, Sandra, if you had a kind of something that you'd like to, I don't know, be able to do, or somewhere where you feel kind of not helpless in the climate change space, but I don't know, somewhere where you wouldn't mind a little bit of extra ability to do something?
Yes, I like to have a superpower to be able to bring the community together. Very similar to what Julie was saying, just bringing that awareness, but actually being able to do something as a community, or just to take action in tangible ways. Yeah, so yeah, that's really what my superhero passion would be about.
That's a pretty good one. I think
Yeah.
I work mainly in the energy mission space. I think I would love to be able to morph into a politician for a day and just
Nice.
just like, you know, speed some things up a little bit or a lot. So that's I think what I'd probably like to do.
Yeah, that's a great one. Nice.
That's me now. Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry. I'm kind of just wrangling kids and dogs at the minute, so apologies. Yeah. So I'm kind of like here, but also not. So yeah, I didn't really get a chance to think much about it, but it would have to be something to do with my passion is really like I'd love to be able to get into schools and then, you know, make something happen. Yeah, like just turn all the little students into, you know, an army kind of thing. So that's yeah,
good. Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Do you work in that space now, Jess?
I don't, but that's where I'm heading, sort of thing. Yeah, so I really want to I was kind of ready to get into this space, and then COVID happened, so I've kind of just put everything on the back burner. But yeah,
well, I can say, I mean, working in this space, I truly I love it. Been a couple of years now, and yeah, it's great, especially when we meet people like this, and everyone is, I don't know, you know, there isn't that kind of competitiveness when you see other councils or other people working in you know, the same sector. Everyone's kind of trying to do the same stuff.
exactly.
Trying to make things work. So yeah, I really love it.
Yeah, I realized that too. I was sort of like, oh, that's okay. There's people out there doing it, and then I got to the point where I was like, nah, we need way more.
It's so
We
much
all need to be, yeah. So I'm like, nah, I'm just, yeah, not creating anything new. I'm just, yeah, getting out there and doing what I can. Yeah.
Great.
And you, Sandra or Julie, what do you guys, what kind of brings you into this, being interested in these kind of spaces today?
Oh, like I think just that, I mean, sort of what Sandra said, where you feel like you're not doing anything tangible and, just wanting to actually put some things in place. Like, yeah, I think that for me, there's a lot of stuff that I don't do. Like I don't have a car and I I live in a small apartment, but I think it's also important to sort of do more stuff and go a bit beyond that. So, yeah. And also, I'm friends with Christina. So, just having that dialogue with someone who's really.
We'll have to continue our chats on from our. We're right in the middle of it. Still have more time. Christina, you might just want to unmute yourself.
I'm unmuted.
Yep, we can hear you.
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. So what kind of superpowers emerged in your group?
Oh, well, I thought the best one was politician for a day. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. Morph into a politician, speed a couple of things up, maybe. That would be really handy.
Pass some environmental laws quickly.
Yeah. Spend the whole day signing, signing everything.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be good. And probably just be there on your own to just sign everything off quickly. Anything else? We've had two great. One was a carbon. So what was it? Carbon sucker. Oh, you have to unmute yourself. Okay. And yeah, kind of. And another one we had in our group was a plant grower. So we have a lot of, yeah, great. Apple earrings.
Oh, I didn't see the muscle. That was good. Like that.
Yeah, strong.
It's amazing. Okay, great. So now that we've called in on our superpowers, let's dive into the exploration. So the first thing I'll ask you to do is in the chat, can you write a word or a short sentence of how you see the future? What in your mind comes up when you think of the future?
I don't know. I assume harmony. I'm hoping.
Okay, I'll type that in the chat. Harmony.
Wishful thinking, but anyway.
No, yeah.
More or just let's see.
Yeah, you can. If you've got more, tell me. Yeah.
The usual, world peace.
Christina, everybody can type in, is that?
Yeah, everyone can type. Go for it. So can you see the chat there? So we've got, it's a slower pace. There's greater community connections. Yeah, I love that. It's innovative and nature-based. Yeah, and back to the roots. We're kind of removed from it all, aren't we? To be more progressive and aware. Yes, at one with nature, wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, great. So what we'll do is we'll watch a video by a teenage climate scientist. Her name is Zia Bastida. She's Mexican, but I think she lives in the United States. And she paints a picture of how she imagines the future. And I will share my screen with you.
Yep, Christina, when you're sharing your screen, there's just a little button to choose when you're selecting which page you want to share. And it's called, the button says share computer sound. You might just also want to include that. It'll make sure we hear whatever you hear.
Great. Yes. Done. Go to this screen. Share. All good? Yep. So let's see what Zia's got to say about the future.
Anything we ever achieved started with someone imagining it first. So if we can't imagine a way out of the climate crisis, it just can't happen. We know that the crisis is getting worse every single day, and many of us are losing hope for our future. But despair is not an option. We must rise up and meet the greatest challenge of our lives with stubborn optimism. And imagining is the first step. So, are you ready to imagine? In this critical decade, the biggest tree planting campaign in history is sucking billions of tons of carbon out of the air. And forests and indigenous lands, they're protected. This is what your city looks like. It's green, I mean everywhere. Streets are pedestrian and kid-friendly. Food growing on rooftops, in car parks, which by the way, we don't need anymore because we don't own cars anymore. And here's something. Birds. Can you imagine your city as a sanctuary for nature and wildlife? There are solar panels on every rooftop across the globe. Clean, interconnected energy lights every home, every clinic, every school. We no longer choke on the toxic fumes of fossil fuels. It's not hard to imagine. This technology already exists. And what about the millions of new jobs created? Are you picturing it? Really picturing it? Roads, they're green too. Traffic's cut right down. Public transport everywhere is electric, dependable, and free. Can you smell the air? Clean. Farming, all regenerative, which means healthy soil and better food. And we don't eat much meat. Can you imagine what we could do with the third of the world's cropland currently used to grow animal feed? Here's something to imagine. Fields of seaweed, miles long, grown in oceans that cross the planet. They draw down billions of tons of carbon, restore sea life, and guess what? They're a limitless source of protein-rich food. And we can do so much more. Rewild our land, protect our cities from rising sea levels, restore coral reefs. These things we're imagining, they're all possible now, just with technology that's available today. We are the last generation that can prevent catastrophic runaway climate change. We cannot give up. Anything we ever achieved started with someone imagining it first. This is the decade to make this imagined future happen. Share this video and help those around you have the courage to imagine it too.
Christina, do you mind sharing the link in the chat as well? Do that video?
Yeah, definitely. I can do that. I'll do that now. And also, all these resources are on the website that I put together, so you can have a look there. I'll just put that here now. So yeah, so what she's saying, you know, everything that was ever achieved started with imagining it first. I really like that. And I'm thinking what we should do now is put together a vision board of what we really want in the future. And, you know, how we would want our future, what we would want our future to look like. So originally I was thinking we should go into breakout rooms. Ooh, we've got more people. So we will go into breakout rooms, yeah. Hello. Welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. So great that you've joined us. We are just thinking about the future and what we would like the future to be like. And, you know, the ideas we are going to create a vision board online, and the ideas that we're going to take down can be as outrageous as you want them to be. You know, we need to move away from business as usual, and creativity requires us to be a little crazy sometimes. So put everything down. There are no wrong answers. So I'm thinking we'll go into, how many people are we now? 12, 13. Should we go 2 or 3 breakout rooms? We're 12 people. Okay,
2
2.
rooms, Christina?
2 rooms. And maybe, Julian, do a little longer the time. Let's do 12, 13 minutes.
13 minutes? Okay.
Yeah. And I will, before we go, Julian, one moment, I'll just share the Padlet link. And I will also give you a quick overview of what a Padlet looks like. So you can see my screen here. It's pretty much like a big blackboard or blue board. And down in the bottom corner, there's a pink plus. And when you click on the pink plus, a box pops up where you can write anything. So you could leave it as a Word post, or you can also, let me just move this up a little. You can also add a picture. So it'll open this window, and then you can pick a file and upload it from your desktop or from your computer. Are there any questions? All good? So Julian, I think if there are no questions, we are ready to go into the breakout rooms. Are you all good? Yeah?
Sure. Would it be worth everyone clicking on that Padlet link before we leave?
Okay.
So has everyone got that link in the chat and click on it?
The YouTube link.
Ah.
Yeah. I'll be able to put it in both the chats, but I just want to make sure that everyone knows that in the Zoom, there's a, down the bottom or maybe up the top, there's a little button that says chat, and there's a link that Christine has shared in there to Padlet.
Yeah.
There's 2 links in there, the bottom one.
Exactly. The first one was the video we watched, and now the bottom one is the Padlet. That's the one we're going to look at. So if you click on that, it should bring up this big blue board with a pink plus sign in the bottom right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sending people to breakout rooms now, Christina?
We're ready.
Here we go.
Hey guys, did you have any issues getting that link? Did you do that okay? Okay.
All good.
Okay, awesome. Should we jump across and have a look at it? That sounds like the sound of someone clicking the YouTube video link as well, maybe. Let's have a look.
Okay. Is everyone's Padlet coming up?
Yeah.
That's still the same fellow who was on before.
Yep.
You can hit the little plus and start adding things to that.
I apologise. We were late dropping in. Can you give us a 1 or 2 minute overview?
Yes,
Yeah, of
just
course.
make sure that everyone's started on the Padlet. Is everyone getting a sense of, okay, yep, great. There's one Padlet appearing. More simplicity. Tanya, we'll just get started here, and then I'll fill you in a moment.
I'm on the case. I just wanted to help explain to Dora, who's 97
Sure.
and a big granny.
Great. Thank you for joining, both of you. So my summary, which may not do it justice, what Christina's done, is she's really looking at how do we communicate about climate, particularly because there's a lot of perhaps discouragement, there's a lot of resistance. And so she's created these climate parties as a way of, a new way of having conversations in a social setting. And this is recreating that in a way. She initially imagined it being around dinner parties. This is a taste of her 3-part climate party series. And we had a look at, just as a bit of an icebreaker, what we thought our environmental superpower would be. We watched a short video on imagining a future. You have to have a vision first. And this is now a group exercise on putting down a vision.
I see someone included a comment on regenerative agriculture or regenerative communities. Hopefully you were able to watch the Biggest Little Farm movie that was made available over the last week or so, because it's about that, and it's definitely worth a watch.
We weren't able to see it last night, but it's still available. Is that right?
As far as I know, it is. Julian? No?
I'm not sure of the technicalities.
Yeah, it should be. If you send us an email, I'll send you the link. Pop the email in the chat. But yeah, definitely worth a watch.
Cool, thank you. I have heard it's great. I've also heard recently, My Octopus Teacher is one that's come out on Netflix.
Okay, well, yeah, noted.
It's amazing. I watched it like 2 hours ago. It's awesome.
Okay, yeah, I'll have a look.
The panel, the Q&A panel last night included Dr. Charles Massey, and that's available on Council's Facebook page if you missed it.
I think I'm spending more time reading others than putting mine in. I keep forgetting to put them in. It's nice reading other ones.
And other people can't move. You can only move your own Padlets around. So if yours is overlaying somebody else's, perhaps find a spot, a free spot to pop yours.
I'm not sure if mine works. Like, how do you then actually upload it? Like, if I hit enter, nothing happens, but there's not really a...
You just click outside your Padlet.
Okay, okay, so it did work. Just then, it's probably underneath, buried.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
If And actually, once Christina showed me this, I've been using it in lots of places. It's a really fantastic storming way.
I noticed that there's a few of us that are anonymous. I wasn't sure how to change my name.
I think you have to have signed in beforehand, which obviously not so easy for you guys.
And how is everyone attaching photos? Do you have to go and find them in Google and upload it?
Yeah, you just drag and drop them in. Just around 5 minutes. Oh, good. The other thing you can do if you're not putting things down is you can actually heart. You can like other ones. You can also add comments to the bottom onto other people's stickies.
And while working as well, was there any particular events that anyone's attended over the last couple of days that they found interesting or learnt anything or particularly liked?
I just enjoyed the conversation with. I enjoyed the conversation just now with how to talk about climate change with the social researcher whose name evades me. I have heard her speak before. That was really great.
Rebecca Huntley.
Yeah, she's unreal. It's unreal.
We're all unreal. We're all here and we're doing our bit.
We are. This is living it right here.
Christina's very busy putting them all out for us. We've just got under a minute left now.
I want to be like those clever ones that have attached pictures.
Well, Padlet's free, you know, for 3 Padlets. So you just go to Google Images and drag and drop an image onto the Padlet. But after this, you know, experiment with it. It's really great. Okay, thanks everyone.
Great. I almost thought I was not coming back to the main room and I'd left the whole meeting. That wouldn't have been good. But look at this board. It's amazing. So we've got some favorites here. Looking at green electricity available to all. I think that's such a good idea. And there's something about honest politicians. How good would that be? Honest journalists. When you look at this, is there something that stands out to you where you go, oh, this really sounds like something we need in our future? I mean, all of them do, but you know, something that resonates with you especially?
I think for me, it's accountability. That's a great one because that just sort of cuts across so many things. Yeah.
Affordable green energy, just making it accessible for more people.
I think just a comment around accountability is I think that there's an awful lot of people that perhaps aren't yet even aware. And so having some way of having educational programs perhaps with youth, because then they're talking up to, you know, the older people. And yes, showing ways that it is, whatever actions they take can be local and can be, as you say, affordable. But somehow having, like David Attenborough, his program about extinction that's on at the moment through the BBC, you know, those type of programs.
Definitely. Yeah, we need more education. We need people to be more aware. I agree. Any other thoughts? Yeah, and these grow carts on every street where we're sharing food. I've never even heard of this before. Can you say a little bit more about this?
Yeah, so that's like where I live. In my little neighborhood, there's about just in my area, there's 3 of these grow carts. So basically, you know, families put this out front of their house and they will, you know, add what excess they have from their garden, and then people in the community add to it and then take. And yeah, I just think it's amazing. And I'm not really very good at gardening yet, so like I haven't been able to add as yet, but I've taken like a few little seedlings and yeah, so it's just amazing. Yeah,
love it. So where area is it? Is it in the city or a bit further out?
So I'm in Geelong. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know, so I'm not just crashing your Randwick.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Welcome.
Yeah.
Definitely welcome, Jess. Great to
have you. I love like this whole, you guys are amazing. So yeah, I've only just sort of found out about these. So it's a part of like the transition streets thing. Like, have you heard about that?
No.
Yeah.
Please tell us. Yeah.
Well, look, I don't know heaps about it, but there is, there's a whole So there's Transition Streets Australia that, you know, they've got this whole kind of guide to getting, you know, people in their communities more connected. And, you know, it's just that whole getting like less reliant on, you know, big systems and structures, and getting back to, those, getting back to your roots and stuff. Yeah. But perhaps maybe, I know, I'll post the link for the.
Can you please? Yeah, that's amazing.
I'll do that.
I've seen it in South Australia.
Yes.
They have those parks.
Tell us a little bit more. Parks with food or park?
No, tin food, anything, really, anything. Food, plants, you know, fruit, vegetables. I can't remember the suburb in Adelaide, but I'm in Sydney, but I don't know how many. Anyway.
Yeah, great. Anyone else? Anything that comes out, stands out?
An earlier session I did today, there is going to be a seed library at in Randwick somewhere. So that's free, actually. It will be at some point.
Yeah, that'll be down at the Randwick Sustainability Hub.
Yeah, that's right.
I missed that session. I know that they're being recorded. Do you know if we can find them on the website again, anyone? Or
I believe Facebook, but
yeah, everything's been recorded, so they'll be on Randwick's YouTube. Probably need a couple of days or so to just go through and filter everything, but you should be able to rewatch anything you missed. I had a question about the board. There's one here about not reinventing the wheel. So like find out a bit more information about that one. So what's you know, what are we thinking we want to do better, and yeah, if you expand on that one maybe. Anonymous question. Maybe. Anonymous wants to stay anonymous.
well, it's not one of mine.
Yeah, not reinventing, finding, collaborating programs. Anyone? Not reinventing the wheel? So I know of this website, if I understand this correctly, that's called Making a Change, and they are trying to pull together all the different organizations and resources and events that are happening around Australia. And maybe that could be part what's been talked about here.
Sorry, what was that? Who?
So we're talking about one of the posts that says not reinventing the wheel, finding and collaborating with programs, associations that have already got traction.
Okay, right. Yes,
So does anyone want to talk about that?
I haven't written it, but I'll just assume, as we said, there's so much knowledge out there already, and even like from like past generations, our grandparents, great grandparents, like just seeing how they lived and how, like, what impact they had on the world, and like little impact, and what we have now, and just going back, as I said earlier, going back to the roots. And like, even I think it's the same with nutrition, and like the more we learn, like we go back to fermentation and like learning about all these things. So we don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel, even though there's some amazing, you know, things that can help and will help, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, but definitely I think going back to the more simple thing. I don't know, like I didn't write that, but that's my take on that.
Yeah, and you see, I've run a few of the climate parties now, and it's really interesting on how many new ideas come up when you talk to different people. You know, there's so much research you can do on your own, but then, you know, as soon as you're in a group, people have so many good ideas and have seen things, and once they share it, that really increases your knowledge and like your view and your horizon. So yeah, really amazing. Okay, so now that we've got a picture of the future and where we want to head, let's start thinking about how we can get there. So we'll look a little bit at what types of activisms are out there. And we'll do that by watching a short video. It's 40 minutes long. And it's an interview with a lifelong activist who has fought for civil rights in the 1970s. And she's advocated for ending this Vietnam War. She stood up for many Native American issues. And she's a women's rights campaigner, a very prominent one. And now she's also fighting for the climate and is engaging in civil disobedience. So we're watching an interview with Jane Fonda. And yeah, she gives different ideas on how and what can be done to actually, you know, become an activist, and what does it mean to be an activist. No. Let's put this here. And then I'm gonna share my screen. Share computer sound. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. So, how do I get back here?
Shall I, there you go, we're done.
Yep. Got it, done. Thanks for letting me know. Let's, okay. Great. Okay, so she talks a lot of different types of ways we can get involved. And, you know, not ways that we can do in our own home, but, you know, that we really need to step up and do something outside of the home. And so the last activity that is planned for tonight is brainstorming different organizations that are already established and are working in the field. And also, whatever you know, collecting information. So what do you know about these organizations? What philosophies do they have? And, you know, just looking to the future on how we can get involved. So I'll show you the document. It's a Google Doc, and I'll share it with you. So this is how it'll work. So there are 3 questions, and under each question there's some groups. So I'm thinking we're just going to have 3 groups, probably. And so you can have a scribe in the group, or you can all add to the document. And this is the way how we can collect ideas on how we can continue with this and how can we, yeah, contribute. So what I'll do is I'll share this with you in the chat. So Julian, how many minutes do we have for this one? Let's see, 15 minutes?
22 minutes left.
Okay, so let's say 15 minutes is good.
15 minutes.
12,
And you want
12, 3 rooms.
3 rooms, 12. Okay.
Great.
Has everyone got the link in the chat? No, we haven't seen the link in the chat yet, Christina.
Yes, I sent it to someone. Here we go, paste. There we go.
Okay, so everyone click on that link before I send you off to the breakout rooms.
Great, yes.
12 minutes, 3.
I'll share the link for the video as well, and I'll show you, yeah. Show that.
Okay, here we go. See you, everyone.
Okay, it looks like we're breakout group number 3.
Okay,
What I can see.
cool. Okay. So,
Anyone want to volunteer to be scribe? Looking at you, Kim.
I can do it if you want.
Sure, thank you, Julie.
They're great earphones, Kim. I want to get
Yeah,
some.
they are great.
Yeah.
Are they cats on the side? No, what are they?
Koalas?
Koalas?
Dogs.
Okay, what are the different ways?
So activism can help.
Okay.
Okay, it looks like we might join. We might be number 2 then.
Reassigned, yeah.
Just reassign ourselves. That's fine.
Yep.
Do you guys want to chip in for this one? I've been speaking all day, and I'd love to hear.
Yeah.
You guys are working on.
I haven't done much activism. I don't know about you, Jess. Have you been involved in anything like that?
Yeah, very little. Like I've started sort of, going along to, like went along to one march and then got involved in a group that, yeah, we're pretty much protesting every Friday, but
Wow.
Yeah, so like there's some really hardcore people, in Geelong, but I did it one week, but I just found that I felt really like there was only about 5 of us, and I really struggled because I felt
Too exposed, or
yeah, and I just kind of went, oh, I feel like we look crazy, and that's not what I want to. Like it just, I mean, I think perhaps it's because the people I was with were older. Old, that sounds really horrible for me to say that, but as in it just didn't, it wasn't like when you see Greta Thunberg out there. It was like just these kind of old hippies. And so, I just thought people were looking at us like we're mad. So, to be honest, I haven't done a lot, but I do, I sign every petition. I do the letters, I share stuff, I do that kind of. Is that still classes activism?
Yeah, it's just a different form. Like I think you've got to find something that suits you as well. Even I think like giving money is sort of underrated, and that's super important.
I agree.
And I don't know, I listened to this podcast about giving money and, researching it and sort of setting aside a part of your salary every week. And if you did it religiously, you'd end up giving hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of your career. And I mean, that could make a massive difference. So, but I mean, obviously no one would know unless you bragged about it at dinner parties. It's sort of a really important thing to do, and anyone can do it and it's easy, but very few people actually do it. So there's more than just direct activism, I think, that you can do. But I guess you get a message across to various people by going to the streets.
We can definitely include that as one. That's a great idea as well. I mean, like donating to something that you've researched and you're interested in, it's non-political often. It's, you don't have to kind of, you're not putting yourself in the way of arguments or kind of getting on everyone's bad side because you're lobbying people or something like that. I've also taken part in kind of like, the Extinction Rebellion kind of groups and that kind of stuff. And that's, and obviously they've shown their effectiveness. Like, they're doing some really impactful stuff around Europe and stuff. So I don't think there's like a silver bullet, but a bit of everything seems to be.
Variety. Different ways that can. Okay, so I think we're group 1 now.
Okay.
we're going up the list.
Yeah.
So we could say variety.
So Jess, how did you hear about this event then from down in Melbourne?
So Geelong. I actually heard about it from Dr. Carl.
Really?
Yeah, I had a personal chat to him earlier in the week because when I say so myself and 4 other women. So basically I'm just helping some people to get elected in our Geelong Council. So yeah, we've got these 4 women that are all going for council in different wards, and yeah, got an alliance together for like put climate first. And one of them reached out to Dr. Carl and just said, hey, you know, do you have any words of advice for us or anything? And yeah, she sent an email, and then he just like rang her, and then yeah, we had a chat. And so anyway, we were talking, and then he just said, all right, you should come and listen to me tomorrow. Yeah, and then I found out about this event and went, wow, there's heaps of cool stuff. So yeah,
Oh, good to hear.
there you go.
Dr. Carl.
So now I'm friends with Dr. Carl.
Yeah, that's he's cool. Oh, so you're going
Yeah.
as a counsellor then, it sounds like maybe. You're
Sorry?
you're trying to be a counsellor then down in...
Yeah, oh, sorry, yeah. So I'm not going to be. I'm just like the, I'm the cheerleader in the group. So, yeah, I've kind of done the, all right, I'll support you women. Yeah, but we've kind of realised that, yeah, you can do things on a local level, but you do need to get people in power as well. So, yeah.
Totally. Should we move down to our second one, unless you guys have any more comments on this one?
Yeah, so what established?
Good.
Yeah, Greenpeace is the one that jumps out for me. Yeah, the Climate Council as well.
I could list quite a few, but I think that might be cheating. So why don't you probably more kind of quality to hear what, you know, what you guys are hearing out in the community more so, and who's, you know, what do you feel that the community looks to for information?
So I'm also involved with Green Music Australia. So I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you a musician, Jess?
No. No, I'm a wannabe. No, I'm not really. No, I just love music. So my background is music industry. But then after having kids, I kind of, you know, ditched the music stuff, and then yeah, kind of realized that, oh yeah, I can still, musicians can do great stuff in terms of like, you know, spreading messages. So yeah, that's how I got involved with them. But yeah, you know, I just volunteer for them, and yeah, but I don't know. So what established organizations? Okay.
That's probably worth mentioning. That, you know, it's not.
Yeah,
not
definitely.
All right. Okay.
So it was the Green Music Group, was it?
Yeah, here
Green Music. Oh, sorry.
There we go. Oh, whoops. No, I should have just...
Yeah, that sounds really cool. I hadn't heard of that before.
Yeah, well, they do. Well, they have been doing these Climate Fridays. So every Friday at 6 o'clock, they'd have an artist and do like a live stream. You know, they'd play something, and then they would have also people from like Seed Mob and yeah, some other school strike for students for school strike or something. I don't know. Anyway, and then they have a discussion, and yeah. But yeah, it just sort of, it blows me away that not everyone knows about all these. Oh, like, yeah, even when that Christine was saying about not knowing about, you just said like about 2040, and
yeah,
I don't know, like it's, yeah, sometimes I'm really surprised by.
Yeah, it was definitely, we sometimes have to get those reality checks at work, where we assume that, you know, everyone's talking about, say, you know, the Paris Agreement because it's in the news, but then you know, I guess everyone kind of zones in on whatever they're interested in the
Yeah.
newspaper. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it is tricky to find, you know, that kind of interest to get across the board as well.
I think you're just getting so much information from so many things as well that yeah, and different sources, and so yeah, it doesn't surprise me when people have massive knowledge gaps on all kinds of stuff, you know. Yeah.
Well, that's why I made a good point for the question. Is there a particular organization that we know of that maybe does like get across the, you know, because like people like Greenpeace and Extinction Rebellion is very much, you know, the group's made for people who, like us, already think in a particular way. Anyone you guys think of, you know, who your uncles, your grandparents, or whoever might know of, and you know, that actually does make it across the whole community?
Not sure about the whole community. I mean, I guess like if you look at councils, like, you know, obviously like Randwick is doing stuff in sustainability, and I think that if you're not really totally sold on the idea of climate change, you're probably more likely to believe a council as opposed to a group like Greenpeace. You know, I think you might have a bit more power in that respect, like capturing people that are not kind of think it's not a big deal or it's going to sort itself out. So yeah, I think councils having representatives talking about sustainability and climate change is really important for sort of getting that group that is maybe thinks it's a load of crap. You know?
That's really a great point. Yeah, we spend a lot of time thinking about, I mean, because it is really easy to fall into that kind of trap of making green events for green-minded people, so that everyone's kind of, you arrive and everyone you speak to is keen. Also,
preaching
you know,
to the choir.
Preaching to the choir, and it's easier. We might get kicked out in a minute, but be continued.
Oh, wow. Time just goes so fast. But you see, even if you didn't put anything down in your groups, that just shows you had a very animated discussion. So that's all we're here for, really. Yeah, so let's have a quick look what we've written down. What other groups have written down. Yeah, so I think it's really important. There's so many different ways of participating and contributing in this cause. And so it's really important to find what the first group said, to find what kind of activism suits you. You know, it's such a big problem, and every one of us brings different skill sets and has different qualities, and to find what suits, where you can bring your qualities to the table and your skills, that's really amazing. I agree. And yeah, I'm very much for the peaceful activism, but I do think we also need the fighters. I mean, we need them all. We need every basis covered because it's such a big situation we're in. What organizations do we know? So, Green Music Australia, what is that?
Hi, that's me. Yeah, so Green Music Australia is an organisation that basically, I guess they're using the platform of music in order to be able to, you know, get their message across, and really, you know, they're always promoting, you know, all these strikes and that kind of thing, protests and stuff. So they have a lot of artists that are like green music ambassadors. So I guess people like John Butler and Missy Higgins, and I don't know, there's heaps of them who would be ambassadors. And so they do a lot of, like, they started a bring your own bottle campaign, and hire a water bottle, you know, so they just have lots of different campaigns that they do. Yeah, and they're doing these Climate Fridays where they would have live music every Friday and then also discuss about, you know, different environmental issues and yeah.
Great. And so they've got a website we can have a look at?
Yeah, yes. Okay, I'll add that. Yeah.
Great.
Sorry.
Yeah, and in our group, Katerina had mentioned Amy mentoring as well. And maybe in 2 sentences?
Yeah, no, just moving along. It's called AIM Mentoring. It's an Australian Indigenous mentoring experience, but we're trying to go globally as well. And it's just kind of to give the power to like the less powerful, to marginalized kids, and they can reimagine their future and just create some alliances with like the people in power, in the short nutshell. But I put the link on there. And there was another one that I didn't say. It's Seaside Scavenge. So it's like this cleanup organization. So you go there, you or wherever you are, you clean up, and then they count and recycle whatever you found, and how many pieces of trash you got. It kind of you get tokens for that, and with that you can buy pre-loved clothes or books. It's kind of like a swap thing. It's awesome. And yeah, there's been like a couple of events here in the eastern suburbs as well.
Great. We'll have a look into they'll have a website too. Yeah,
I'm gonna add that now.
Okay, great. And let's have a quick look. So we've got a lot of great organizations that's been listed by Group 3. So the big ones: Greenpeace, Extinction Rebellion, looking good. Group 3, do you want to mention one that you particularly like?
We had very strong advocacy from from Thailand. We had representatives and ambassadors from Vietnam and also from help me. Philippines, yes, from Greenpeace, which was fantastic, and also the connection to the United Nations Volunteers Program.
Wow,
so I think we put that into the link there as well. And we particularly liked all of them.
Amazing. Unfortunately, we're running out of time here. There's so much more we could talk about, but so what's the next steps? So in Group 2, we said, you know, it's so important to keep on talking to people and to stay connected. So my suggestion is, after the session, that I email out some of the links, some of the things we've done today, and also give you the social media sites and the website of Climate Parties. And please, if you do have any questions or would like to run a climate party, let me know, and I'm so happy to talk you through it, or even maybe we can do the other sessions together as well. There's 3 sessions in total. And yeah, because we really need to start talking and get this ball rolling and do it. Yeah, my suggestion, like I said, I'm more on the peaceful side of things. I think talking is a good way for me. And yeah, if you're interested to join, then I'm so happy to communicate and collaborate. Great. And Group 3 has lots of good information here too. Facebook groups, researching more on climate. Oh, and I love that, being a keyboard warrior. We need to write to the policymakers. That's great. You know, I just want to thank you so much for joining and being part of this group. And let's continue to communicate and join our forces to make a fairer and kinder and more sustainable future for us all. That would be great.
Thank you very much, Christina.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us all here. That was great. It was so nice to have like an activity which was so much more interactive, and hearing and seeing everyone, it made a huge difference. So thank you very much.
That's what I love about just hearing other people's ideas is just inspiring. So thank you for contributing, everyone. It's great.
Christina, are you going to put up when the next sessions are? And
Yes, I'd love to. I can arrange the next sessions. Yeah, and I'll let you know when they are. Oh, yeah, I'll talk to the council and we can go through the council too.
Super. And I missed your intro at the very beginning as
Yeah.
to your background in this. Are you with council or?
I'm not. I've run the program with the council before, and now I'm presenting here with the council too. And so I have put this program together to bring people together, to start the communication, and to, you know, facilitate that people join forces and don't feel that they're alone on this, with this big mission. So yeah.
Well done, you.
Lovely to meet you all, and I will be in touch. You'll hear from me.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Christine.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.
Troublemaker teenager, go away.